What's up guys, my name is Crescent, and if creating your first shipping plan wasn't confusing enough, Amazon recently changed the workflow on how you create them. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use and navigate through the new system. I'll also go over how you can ship multiple SKUs in one shipping plan, the difference between individual and case-packed items, how to properly package and label each shipment, storage limits, and as well as some of the common shipping plan mistakes to avoid. All right, so the first thing you'll want to do is log into your Seller Central account and navigate to the Manage Inventory page. From here, you'll see the listings that you want to send inventory for. So for example, you can see that I'm out of stock on this item here. To start the shipping plan, click on the drop-down menu and click on Send Replenish Inventory. Now, if you don't see the Send Replenish option, then when you created the listing, you didn't choose that you're going to do FBA. So if that's the case, you can tell the listing is set to FBM because you'll see the option Change to Fulfill by Amazon, like you can see in this other listing here. If that's the case, then choose Change to Fulfill by Amazon, and under the barcode type, I suggest always choosing Amazon barcode, which is the FNSKU barcode. Click Convert, and you may have to wait 15 minutes for it to take effect. Then you'll be able to choose the Send Replenish option. All right, now you can see that we're on step 1 of 3 steps, and in the first step, we need to choose what inventory we plan to send to Amazon. You can see that it shows the SKU that we chose on the previous page here, and that we're on the pre-selected tab here. If we want to send more than one SKU, we can click on the All FBA SKUs tab here, but I'll go over how to send multiple SKUs and a single shipping plan later on in the video. Now, if this is the first time you've ever created a shipping plan for this product listing, then you're going to have to enter the origin and destination addresses. The origin is usually going to be your supplier's address or wherever you're shipping your products from. It actually doesn't really matter what you put here. You can put your own address if you want. Now, if you've already created a shipping plan in the past, it'll show the address that you previously used, as you can see here. If you need to change it, you can enter a new address by clicking on Ship from another address. Now, if you have a US Amazon seller account and you're shipping to the US marketplace, then United States should be pre-selected already here. Otherwise, choose the correct marketplace. Now, for the packing details, individual versus case packed. Okay, now you need to choose how your shipment is going to be packed. You can see that the individual units is pre-selected here. The other option is case packed. In a nutshell, I suggest always choosing individual, and here's why. This is something that people get confused about all the time, choosing individual or case packed. So in order to explain this, first, let's discuss what a unit is. A unit is what the buyer gets when they make one purchase from you. For example, let's say you're selling a toothbrush. The toothbrush is considered a single unit. Now, let's say you're selling a pack of toothbrushes. It doesn't matter how many are in the pack, it's still considered one unit. It also doesn't matter if you're selling a toothbrush bundled with toothpaste. It's still one unit. One unit is whatever the buyer gets when they buy one item from you. Okay, you with me so far? So, why would you choose individual versus case packed then? Well, let's go over what case packed is first, since it's the most restrictive. Let's take a look at what it says here and I'll explain what it actually means. Select case-packed products if your shipment boxes consist of cases that contain identical items with matching SKUs in the same condition. You will then be able to enter the number of cases and units per case for each SKU in the shipment. And this goes on to specify that case-packed products must meet the following criteria. All products in the box must have a matching SKU and condition. All boxes with the same product must contain equal quantities of that product in each box. For example, a case pack of 24 units must always contain 24 units. The case pack limit is 150 units per case. Okay, so what does that mean? It means you should smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really does help me out by letting YouTube know that you found value in this video, so it'll show it to more people just like you. So thank you, and I'd appreciate it. So with that said, what it means is if you're going to choose case packed, then each shipment box, which is also called the shipping carton, must contain the exact same product inside, and each shipping carton must also have the exact same number of units inside. So for example, if you're shipping 1,000 units of toothbrushes in 10 shipping cartons, then each shipping carton can only have the toothbrush units inside it, and each shipping carton must contain 100 units inside. That means inside each shipping carton, everything is exactly the same. You can't mix the single toothbrush unit with the 4-pack or the bundle inside the same cartons. All 10 cartons must be indistinguishable from each other. And take note that I also picked 10 cartons in the example very carefully, because when you choose case packed, you can't ship an odd size carton. For example, if you're shipping 1,000 units, but you pack them in cartons of 150 units, the maximum units you can have per carton, well, if you do the math, you'll have a carton left over with only 100 units. You won't be able to include the odd size carton in the shipping plan. So effectively, you'd only be able to ship in 900 units. Okay, so moving on. What does individually packed mean? You can see that it says, select individual products if your shipment box contains individual items of different SKUs or different conditions. Individual products can contain different quantities of the same SKU in each case and can contain more than 150 units in any case. So what that means is you can put whatever you want inside each carton and however many units you want. So as you can see, if you had the problem with the odd size carton that I mentioned earlier, you can choose individually packed to get around it and ship all 1,000 units, even though 6 of the 7 shipping cartons are case packed. That's why I always suggest choosing individually packed, regardless if the cartons are case packed, so you don't run into that issue while you're creating the shipping plan. Okay, so if you run into an issue where you can't enter an odd carton in the shipping plan, this is why. Just delete the shipping plan and start over and choose individually packed. And like I said, just always choose individually packed to avoid this problem altogether. Okay, so moving on. Again, if this is your first time creating a shipping plan for this product, you're going to notice that you can't click on the confirm and continue button. It's grayed out, and the boxes and units fields are inaccessible. Now, this isn't the first time I'm creating a shipping plan for this product, so that's why you don't see any errors in the information action field that we need to correct. If there are any errors, you're going to have to click on the links and then answer the questions on the window that pops up. For example, if we click on this edit button here, you can see it says who labels, and I am going to label it. I'm the seller. However, if I want Amazon to do it, it's 30 cents per unit. And you can see here, it says no prep required. But if I do need prep, then I can change that option. Now, if there isn't any issues at this point, you can enter the number of units that you plan to ship in. But first, I want you to take notice that there's a print SKU labels option here. Here's where you can print and download the FNSKU label that needs to go on each one of your units. For most of us, our supplier is putting the labels on for us. So choose standard formats and then choose a size that you'd like to use here. It really doesn't matter which one you choose, but if you're picky like me and you want the barcode to be a certain size, then choose the one you like best from this list. Then just enter 1 here and click on print. Save it as a PDF, and if we open the PDF, you can see that this is what the label is going to look like. If you don't like the size, you can choose a different format from the list or edit yourself in Photoshop. I actually have a video that goes over how you can edit the barcode yourself to make it look nicer and other details like the suffocation warning and the country of origin. If you want to learn how to do that, I'll leave a link to the video in the description below. Also, if you're confused about Amazon's packaging and barcode requirements, like how your products need to be packaged for shipping and what all the different barcodes are for, I'll also leave a link to a video that goes over that in detail in the description below as well. Okay, so once you've saved the label, you can email it to your supplier. Okay, so back to where we were. Here's where you're gonna need some information from your supplier in order to continue. Boxes is how many shipping cartons in total there are, and units is how many units are inside each shipping carton. So for example, if we're shipping 1,000 units and your supplier has packaged them into 4 cartons with 250 units in each carton, then we're gonna enter 1,000 units here because that's the total we're sending in. Click on Ready to Pack. Then click on Pack Individual Units. Now in our case, we're shipping them in multiple cartons, so choose multiple boxes will be needed. If everything is in one box, then of course choose everything will fit into one box. Click on Confirm. Leave this option as Enter through a web form. This is so we can just enter all the details through the website instead of through a flat file. Okay, since we have 4 shipping cartons, enter 4 here for how many boxes there are. You can change this in the next step if you make a mistake or need to make a change later. Click on Open Web Form. Okay, so Now you can see that you can enter all the shipping carton information here for each carton. So remember, we're shipping 4 cartons with 250 units in each carton for a total of 1,000 units. So we're going to enter that here. Box 1 has 250 units. Box 2 also has 250 units. Box 3, 250, and box 4, 250. You can see that as we entered this information, it updated the total unit count here. It's a good way to verify that you've entered the information correctly. If the units entered don't match the original total you specified in step 1, then you'll see that the totals don't match. Now in our case, all the cartons are the same, so the size and weight of each shipping carton would also be the same. So you'd enter that information here. Let's say each carton weighs 20 pounds. And all the cartons are 25 by 25 by 20. Since this box dimension applies to all the cartons, check mark all 4 boxes. Once we do that, you can see that the Confirm Packing Info button is now clickable. But before we do that, I want to show you the problem if we were to choose case packed instead of individual, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video. Let's say, for example, your supplier can't package all 1,000 units into 4 cartons of 250 units. Let's say they put 300 units in 3 cartons and 100 units in the 4th carton for whatever reason. It happens. So let's enter that here. So keep in mind, I'm making up these numbers as we go. Let's just say the carton with the 300 units weighs 25 pounds and the last carton only weighs 10 pounds. Okay, so everything looks good so far. There's no errors or anything, but here's the difference. The last carton here is a different size. It's a much smaller carton, so we need to have 2 different box dimensions. So for example, if the 300 unit cartons were the same as before, we can enter that here, 25 by 25 by 20, and then check mark those 3 cartons. Now for the 4th box that's different, we can click on add another box dimension. Now we can enter the size of the smaller carton. So let's say it's 15 by 15 by 12, and then check mark it here. Now the new shipping carton details are entered correctly for this odd shipment. With me so far? If you had chosen case packed, you would not be able to enter the details for the 4th box. There wouldn't be an add another box dimension option because, like I said earlier, case pack means all the cartons must be exactly the same. Okay, so if you run into the situation where you can't enter details for an odd carton, it's because you chose case packed and not individually packed. And if you're following me, this is why I suggest to always just choose individually packed, even if your cartons are all case packed, because you can still enter the box dimensions like I showed you here. You just won't have an odd size carton to enter. Make sense? All right, now click on the Confirm Packing Info button. If you get some warnings like you see here, it's warning you that based on the information you entered, it doesn't match what Amazon thinks the shipping carton size and weight should be for the number of units that you said you're going to ship in. It calculates this based on the size and weight and volume of what a single unit is. So double check that the carton size and weight that you entered are in fact correct. If so, then just click on Dismiss Warnings and confirm. Click on Confirm and Continue. All right, moving on to step 2. The first thing you'll need to do is set a shipping date. It doesn't have to be exact. You can see here that it says enter an estimated date. Just choose a date. It doesn't really matter how accurate it is. Okay, shipping mode. Basically, if you're just starting out on Amazon, you're always going to choose SPD, which is small parcel delivery. These are loose cartons that are not on a pallet. LTL is less than a truckload. This is when you're shipping in much larger quantities where the cartons are palletized. And there's also FTL, which is a full truckload. That's when the entire shipment on a truck is yours. Again, all palletized, but that's not for most of us until you've built your business to a much larger scale. Now you can see here that it says there is one shipment and it says ship to multiple destinations. This means that Amazon may want you to ship your products to more than one Amazon warehouse. This is to streamline the fulfillment process when you sell your product. I'll go over this more in detail in step 3, but if you don't want to have your products shipped to multiple warehouses, there's actually a setting you can change in your account. If you go to Settings, Fulfillment by Amazon, in the inbound settings, click on Edit, then change the inventory placement option to Inventory Placement Service. By changing this option, you can ship everything to one Amazon warehouse. However, Amazon will charge you a minimum of 30 cents per unit depending on the size and weight of your product. So make sure you do the math to see if it's worthwhile and smash the like button, okay? Now, in the next section, you need to choose how you're shipping your products to Amazon. You can see that by default, the Amazon partnered carrier option is selected. In most cases, if you're shipping from outside the US, like from China, you're always going to choose non-partnered carrier and choose a carrier from the drop-down menu here. It really doesn't matter which carrier you choose. It's mostly for your own reference. If you don't know, just choose other. However, if you are shipping within the US, then you can save a lot of money by choosing the Amazon Partner Carrier Program option. This is where you can take advantage of huge shipping discounts offered by Amazon, sometimes more than 50 to 75% in savings than if you were to arrange the shipment yourself through the same carriers like FedEx and UPS. If you choose to use the Partner Carrier Program, it'll calculate how much the shipping costs are, and you'll be charged right away when you complete the shipping plan. You can see that to ship what we have here, it only costs $39.37. If you were to arrange a shipment yourself on UPS's website, for example, outside of Amazon, it could easily cost you over $100. Take note though, you only have 24 hours to cancel the shipment and get a refund if you do complete the shipping plan, but later change your mind. So in this case, since we're choosing non-Amazon partner carrier, you can see that the fees are $0. And if everything looks right, click on accept charges and confirm shipping. Okay, now the last step. Step 3, print shipping labels. You can see here the summary of the shipment and the warehouse Amazon wants you to send the shipment to. Here's where we can print or download the shipping labels that need to go on each shipping carton. Usually the default option here is fine, but if you want to change it, you can. Click on print. You'll notice that in this case, there's one label for each carton that we're shipping. And since in our scenario, we have 3 cartons that are the same and 1 that isn't, you need to make sure that the correct shipping labels go on the corresponding carton. As you can see here, the first 3 labels are the 25-pound cartons, and the 4th label is the 10-pound carton. Now, if all the shipping cartons were identical, then it wouldn't matter which shipping label goes on each carton. Now, pro tip, if you have multiple cartons that are different, it can get confusing trying to figure out which label goes on which carton if they're being sent to different warehouses. So a pro tip here is when you're entering the carton details back on step 1, keep track of which carton you're doing in order. So the first carton details you enter as box 1 goes with the first shipping label. The second carton details you enter as box 2 goes with the second label, and so on. What also helps is if you mark each carton with a number like 104, 204, and 304, and so on, so that you know the first label is for the first carton and the second label is for the second carton. And of course, again, if they're all case packed, then it doesn't matter which label goes on which carton since they're all the same. Okay, now if you're not doing the shipping yourself, then instead of printing the labels, you're going to want to download and save them as a PDF and then email them to your supplier or freight forwarder or whoever is doing the shipment so they can print them out and put them on the shipping cartons. All right, and that's it. Once you have the tracking details, you can enter them into the shipping plan. If you have them now, you can click on proceed to enter the tracking details. If you don't have them right now, you can enter them later. Just scroll to the top and click on Shipping Queue. Then click on Track Shipment. And then click on the Track Shipment tab. All right, now we're going to go over some of the most common problems that beginners run into when creating a shipping plan. The first, while we're here, has to do with storage limits. Amazon recently implemented new storage limits, and for new sellers, this limit is usually 1,000 units. That means at any given time, you can only keep 1,000 units at Amazon's warehouse. You can see what your storage limit is here. You can see that in my case, this test account has a storage limit of 1,000 units and the standard size tier. And because I just created this shipping plan for 1,000 units, all of my storage is now used up in the standard size tier. If I were to try to create another shipping plan and send in more units, I will get this error message. If you run into this error or problem where you haven't actually sent anything to Amazon yet, then your storage limit allocation is being used up by a shipping plan or plans that you created in the past. So in order to fix this, you'll need to use the original shipping plan you created or delete it to free up your storage space so that you can create the new shipping plan. If you do have inventory at Amazon already, then you can only ship in however many units you have remaining left in your storage limit allocation. If you want to learn more about storage limits and how to increase them, I have a video that goes into detail on this, and I'll leave a link to it in the video description below. Okay, another common problem people have is with the FBA fees, shipping costs, or storage volume. When you create your very first shipping plan, it will ask you for the size and weight of your product, and it will also ask you for the shipping carton size and weight, like I went over earlier in step 1. Make sure you don't enter the shipping carton size and weight as the unit size and weight. You'll get storage errors, or you'll notice that the FBA fees and shipping costs calculations are astronomically high. That's because it thinks your product is the size and weight of your shipping carton. This is a pretty common mistake, so just make sure you don't mix them up. I have a video that goes over how to fix this problem, and you can find a link to that also in the video description. And last, I get asked all the time, how do you ship multiple SKUs? It's actually really quite simple. If you want to ship multiple products or variations at the same time, you can either create separate shipping plans for each product or variation, or you can simply check mark all the products you want to send from the Manage Inventory page, then choose Send Replenish from the drop-down menu here. Make sure the listed products are correct, then click on Yes, Continue button. Then just proceed through the shipping plan like normal, filling out all the fields in each step like I showed you in this video. That's it. Now, I want to point out that properly packaging and labeling your shipments is crucial to ensuring that Amazon processes your shipment quickly and avoid incurring fines for improper packaging and labeling. You can actually lose your selling privileges if you don't follow the guidelines. If you want to learn more about how to properly package and label your products, I'll leave a link to a detailed video on that in the description below. All right, so if you want to get in touch with me, you can find all of my contact details in the video description below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment or question in the comment section below. I answer every single one. And as always, if you found value in this video, consider subscribing. And do me a favor, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really does help me out, and I'd appreciate it. And make sure you ring that bell so you never miss a future video. All right, thanks for watching.